Hi, my name is Jessica Poundstone, and I make a jewelry line called Jewelry by Jessica. It's jewelry made entirely from shrink plastic, like the necklace that I'm wearing here. And today I wanted to show you how to make a flower pin, a brooch, made from shrink plastic. To make this project, you'll need sheets of shrink plastic. These come in packs of 10 or more. You'll need a pair of scissors. Any scissors will do. You'll need a toaster oven or a regular oven is fine, and a baking sheet to shrink the plastic on. A liner for the sheet, a brown paper bag works really well. You'll need a racquetball or some other sort of ball, because when you shrink the pieces for the pin and they're still warm and malleable, you're going to form them around the ball to give a three-dimensional effect for the pen. You'll need some paint. Craft acrylic paint works really well. You'll need some varnish. Again, Craft acrylic varnish. I like to use gloss to seal the color in. Some kind of industrial glue. I use E6000. That really seems to seal the plastic together well. And then a pin back, like this one. The first thing that you'll need is a piece of shrink plastic. This is the one that I use. It's from Shrinkinks, the originator of shrink plastic. I'll have these templates available for download. It comes in 3 pieces. I'm cutting out the shrink plastic here, and keep in mind that when you do this, it's sometimes happens that the shrink plastic can, if you twist, it can crack. So you'll want to come in from the other side, rather than trying to turn your scissors. Here I have laid out everything I'm going to need. The baking tray for the shrink plastic, all 3 of my pieces, the racquetball, and an oven mitt. I'm going to shrink each piece separately because the plastic doesn't stay malleable for too long. I wanted to make sure that I can form each piece well so that they fit on top of each other well. Here's a shot of the shrinking in action, and you can see that there's a possibility that the pieces are going to stick to each other. So if that happens, what you want to do is pull it out of there and just gently unstick it with your fingers or with a knife or something like that. Generally, the pieces will unstick. You just give it enough time. And as you'll see, it's very malleable. You want the shiny side up, and you'll want to just form the piece of shrink plastic around the racquetball like this. So now this is pretty good. It's got a nice curve to it. There's still going to be room to put my pin back on there, and it's a good shape. My other 2 pieces out of the toaster oven, working quickly and making sure the shiny side is up. Just form it around the ball. There we go. So now, what you'll see is that these pieces should fit really nicely. We have our pin. Our pieces are now ready to be painted, and I've chosen my paint colors. I'm going to use a combination of mulberry, blue, and lime. And what you want to do is just hold the edges, and I tend to paint from the center out, because you will be able to see a little bit of the brush strokes. Now, if you don't want to see too much of the brush strokes, you can go ahead and apply a second coat of the paint. So now I've applied all my paint to each of the pieces, and I'm going to apply a relatively thin layer of varnish to it. You don't want to glop it on, but you definitely want it to create an even, smooth surface. What you'll notice after you finish applying the varnish and the paint is that the edges of the plastic are going to have a little bit of a coating on them. And what I end up doing is actually, once everything is dry, is one of these blades from an X-Acto knife to just scrape that excess paint and varnish right off of there. So I'm going to take my E6000 glue to glue the 3 parts of the brooch together. I usually use a Q-tip to help control the flow. You don't need too much, and keep in mind that sometimes if you do use too much, you'll be able to see a little spot of the blue through the pieces, so you don't need much. There we go. Then I'm going to turn it over and use a little bit more to affix the pin back. And then enough on there so that you get the glue through the holes to get a good, secure hold. So there you have it. As you can see, I'm wearing my pin right now. You can make as many of these as you want in any color that you want and put them on shirts, coats, bags, wherever you want. So I hope you have a lot of fun making them.